Ladies and gentlemen, well, welcome to Meat People, this podcast to the Southwest Meat Association. I can't wait to have these conversations, and we're going to do everything we can to make it entertaining and valuable and a great representation of meeting the people.
The Meat People podcast has started, and Pat Nicholson, he's got a pretty voice. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
It's really nice hearing my headphones, listening to, a guy from the meat industry who I look up to, who's been a mentor to me. And so I'm really looking forward to this conversation and letting everybody into your story a little bit. Like, a lot of them are going to think they know it. I think I know it,
Sure.
But I don't. And I feel like a pretty good place to start is, tell me about Mertzon, Texas.
Mertzon, Texas. Moved there when I was 10 years old. My dad, I'm a third-generation butcher. My dad was a big grocery store butcher and decided he didn't enjoy the corporate world, and he bought a small locker plant and taught himself how to kill cattle, and he already knew how to cut them up. He just didn't know how to kill them, and he figured that out. And it just kind of took off from there. That was 1974.
Yeah.
And I was just a kid, 10 years old, 9 years old. And from there, he just started a smokehouse business. Dr. Keaton with Texas A&M worked with us just from long distance. We kind of taught ourselves how to make smoked meats and stuff like that, and ended up with a regional brand, Nicholson's Meat Company. And
now, is that still around today?
No, my sister, I own the rights to the family business. My sister and brother-in-law bought it from my dad before he passed away, and I think 3 or 4 years ago is whenever they sold it. Yeah. It was one of the longest tenured businesses in Mertzon, at 47, 48 years, I think. And Tom Thorpe Transport's my best friend. Their family business just shut down last year after 52 years. Yeah. Outside of cattle, ranching, and that type of stuff, those are the longest tenured businesses.
It touches on a thing that I think is super important to the listeners of the Meat People podcast and the members of the SMA, and that's succession plans.
Yeah.
That is, I think a lot of us, if you don't, maybe this piece of the conversation isn't that valuable to you, but me certainly, I think about, how can I work with my kids?
Yep.
How can I have something that they get to participate in? How can I build a thing that gives them momentum? And we were just talking about it. It's like, you got to have those plans in place. You got to have an eye towards that kind of thing. And even then, it might go away. It's just like those businesses you grew up in and your best friend's business, 50 years was all it had,
Yeah.
And so it gives me a lot of respect for all the people that are in the meat business that have 4th, 5th generation businesses. That's pretty impressive. And I think it's just a thing to kind of highlight.
Yeah, there's a small percentage of them that do succeed. 3rd and 4th generations are not common. Yeah. And it's a credit to the family whenever they can go that far, for sure. I fully intend to have a generational thing to carry on the Nicholson brand of smoked meats with my kids, something that is down the road. But, that it takes time to get there. And timing is everything in business, in my opinion. So,
where does that opinion come from? Like, tell me a little bit of why.
Experience, I think.
Yeah.
I've learned over the years that if you force things too much, they generally don't work out long term. You just have to let things happen. And, if you're faith-based, and I am, I think, we're put in a position at the right time, at the right place, and when it works out, it works out. You have to listen and pay attention. But I would have never guessed I'd have been sitting here with Neil Dudley doing this and in the business that I'm in with Jason Byer and D.L. Funderburg. I never envisioned that.
Yeah.
But
by the way, what is your business?
Our business is Texas Best Proteins is our umbrella company. Jason and D.L. started that quite a few years ago. And our business, main business, is farm to market food, which is a kettle-cooked operation. So we cook for restaurants. We cook queso and chili, and we've got our own Cajun line. We bought a Cajun company in 2017, and we produce probably 30 different Cajun items, gumbos and jambalayas and etouffees and that type of stuff. Yeah. So customers of ours are like Cabana, Taco Bueno, Brookshire Brothers. We've done a lot of work over the years with those guys. Rosa's, we just Margaritaville, all over the country.
Sure. I mean, that's it's just an illustration of what I feel like I've learned from being a part of the SMA, watching guys like you build business. You didn't have all those customers when you started.
No.
So you just start, and then you start working on doing the thing that they need. Yeah. And now you're sitting here with, that's some pretty impressive customer list.
And we have Kennedy Sausage, which is our ham, bacon, and sausage line that Jason and DL had bought in the early 2000s. We still have a distribution company that we do that business as well. We've got a couple of retail stores where we market our stuff as well as other Texas items. Yeah. I'm a very firm believer in trying to market as much Texas and local items as we can, and that's worked out well for us. It's interesting, the businesses that we do, I would have never guessed. I grew up in slaughterhouses and meat cutting and smokehouses, proteins, right? And but we do proteins now, but that's not the main part of the business. And so it's been an interesting journey. And honestly, we are where we're at as a company today because of SMA. I knew a lot of people in the kettle industry, but I didn't know I knew them.
Oh, there you go.
So when I got into that line of business with Jason and DL, Don Ray and some of those guys had owned kettle companies. And Don Ray's a good friend of mine. Yeah. So it was just...
Speaking of which, the meat board.
The meat board is...
That's a little... you have so many, what I call excursions, It's like, Pat's on another excursion, It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Don, and that's how I came to Jason and DL, through the meat board. We were... Don Ray, Dr. Nick Nicholson, Sam Beebe, and myself founded the meat board, and we were looking for a location and couldn't find one, and Jason and DL needed some help on the kettle business, and so I stopped to help them for about a year and just loved it and ended up partnering up with them, and we've had a good time. It's been a struggle, to be honest with you, getting into that world, but we had some good friends and some good mentorship from people like Don.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I got to tell this story. We were talking about your son playing football and going to Sul Ross and then going and walking on at A&M. And we got to talking
Tech.
I meant Tech. And we got to talking about Mike Leach. And one of Mike Leach's stories is what you just talked about. Nothing worth having is easy.
Right.
It will be hard, So it's like Pat's just telling you, hey, we've built a thing. We've had a lot of fun doing it, but it wasn't easy It wasn't easy building it. There's a lot of scary times, like just tough stuff, either with employees or with the market or even customer arguments or unhappiness. So I think I just love telling that, which it's not the first time probably anybody's ever heard that,
right.
But it's worth kind of repeating, even for myself. Hey, this is hard. Yeah. That means it's worth something. Yeah. Stick with it. Stay in there. So anyways, I always was wanted to be a football player, so I'm kind of jealous of your son because he actually did it.
He did. Yeah. And, he doesn't regret it. And he's in the oil field now. He doesn't even, he went to school to be a coach, and he was a coach for 5 years. And, but he's in the oil field and does all that now. But he had some good times in college, he said.
Yeah. By the way, for any of those people who are thinking Dr. Nick and Pat are related, they're not.
We are not.
They have the same last name, which confused me for a while.
Yeah, and it's spelled different.
Well, it is spelled different, but it takes you a while to know that or learn that. Yeah. And I'm like, man, are these guys brothers? Is this his son?
No, Dr. Nick calls me Uncle Pat. So.
Yeah, there you go. That's great. All right, so you've kind of gone to Texas Best, which we've jumped around a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of part of it. We don't have 2 hours to really delve into everything.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about selling boxes. Or were you selling boxes, or were you running the box making plant? What were you doing?
So that was an interesting story. I went because manufacturing is kind of my specialty, and they needed some help getting plants together. And so I started out in Brownwood. And after a year and a half, they asked me to become a corporate operations guy. So I started traveling to Mexico and training people and building plants there from a manufacturing standpoint. Excuse me. And so, it was very good because Danhill is owned by accountants. And so I got a real good education on the backside, or really the backside of the business, but it's the front side. The numbers always have to mean something, right?
Yeah.
And it was a family-owned business. I think still is. I was there for 15 years and learned a lot, and it helped me to where I'm at today. And there was never a passion about making boxes, but I was passionate about being successful. And when I started at Danhill, we had, I think, 3 manufacturing facilities and a few distribution centers. And whenever I left, we had 6 manufacturing facilities in 2 countries, and we had bought 3 or 4 of our competitors and merged them into our company. And it was a very good education. It was a good ride.
Yeah.
And the neat thing about it was we learned as we went. All of us that ran the company, there were 5 of us. Nobody had experience until we did it.
Right.
So nobody came from that world.
It sounds like a great team.
It was.
It's like, hey, we're jumping out of this plane, everybody. We better start building the parachute together. And there wasn't anybody that said, no, I don't like this idea. I'm not participating. Everybody said, okay, we're off.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, am I right or wrong about this? I feel like a guy named Jay Danhill was
the founder.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Was he kind of a fun guy?
He was. Yeah. He was. And he used to get on me and Jeff because we took it too serious. We worked too many hours. He tried to teach us how to cut it off at 5 o'clock.
Right.
And it was from experience because he was just like us when he was young, right? And these were our younger years, by the way.
Sure.
But he was. He loved to have fun.
Yeah.
And he loved making money, but it was all about people for him.
Yeah. I feel like I met him a time or two and just,
he probably did.
Just had that, I don't know, he just had that kind of infectious personality, which is probably part of how the business did well, because he understood, like, hey, I'm here to make relationships, to make friends, and if I do that well, I get to make money too.
He understood how to make people feel present.
Yeah.
When he talked to you, he was talking to you.
Yeah.
And, and he understood that people is what made his living.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was a great man. I had a lot of respect for him.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, thanks for kind of dancing down the cardboard
packaging road.
Yeah, the packaging road. So, like, you've been involved with SMA in lots of roles and lots of kind of different times.
Yep.
Give us a little insight about that. Like, why would you be a part? Like, why do you bother doing that?
So, for me, I started with SMA, and before SMA, we were always members of AMP, my family. So, I grew up in industry organizations, but AMP was geared for the smaller people, and SMA at first I think was that way too. But when I got started with SMA, it was as a vendor through Danhill.
Yeah,
and this was 25 years ago, and so I saw things that I could help with, and SMA welcomed me into the family, and it's a hard thing to break into, but it worked out really well. SMA for me was a platform every year to show appreciation to my customers.
Yeah.
and I could take them to dinner and do things like that. And it wasn't just about trying to gain new business, right? It was an opportunity to show my appreciation. And so that's kind of how that started. And then I was asked to be on the board, and I've cycled through the board several times. And our Friday night deal is a big thing for me. I really enjoy what we do as an organization. And when I started SMA, Friday nights were still helping to support the organization. And it's not that way now.
Yeah.
The organization is in 38, 39 states now. We're not a little thing anymore. Yeah. And Joe Harris and the group have done a fantastic job. Board members over the years have done a fantastic job keeping it going and growing it. And now, Friday night is more about straight up auction items and raising money for kids' scholarships.
Yeah.
And that is to bring the kids back into our industry.
Registration is now open for SMA's 70th Annual Convention and Suppliers Showcase, happening July 22nd through the 25th. Join the Southwest Meat Association for one of the industry's longest-standing events, bringing together professionals from across the meat industry for networking, education, and connection. From engaging sessions to valuable face-to-face opportunities on the Supplier Showcase floor to activities and experiences that make it fun for the whole family. This is an event you don't want to miss. Visit our website to register today and secure your spot.
Hello, meat people. This is Rick Kimbrell with Start Clean. I want to share with you real quick about how ocean near misses and recordables can be related to each other. We chose to reduce the number of recordables by using the red card, yellow cards used in soccer. We use it proactively to coach safety and to have more conversations with our employees about safety. It's familiar, it's non-threatening, it's a great warning system. Call us, it's a free program. I'll be happy to share it with you to keep all of our meat people safe.
Yeah.
A lot of them are running businesses now that receive scholarship money 10 and 15 years ago.
How did this little thing circle around to succession? It's like the industry has to have new kids, new people interested, or it just disappears.
Yeah, and it can't just be family. And,
right.
It's vendors, too. There's multi-generation vendors and that type of stuff. Southwest Saw is one of them.
Yeah.
It's important to give back, but it's also important to recruit and mentor those at a young age.
Yeah. I got a chance to interview a few, let's say, PhDs, but kind of young, most kind of recently, anointed, recently accomplished this kind of level of education.
Yeah.
And they all were really fun to talk to. They're super smart. They're driven. They remind me of you a little bit. It's like they want to win.
Yeah.
They want to be something more than they were yesterday, today.
Yeah.
Drew Cassins, Dr. Lonnie Luchik, there's a couple that come to mind quickly, but they're just driving our industry forward by recruiting top kids, by coming to the SMA, helping us make sure we're supporting these kids, giving them these opportunities to get into school. Drew said something like, network. That's what he tells these kids. Y'all got to network, be on the meats judging team. Submit an application to the SMA. You may not get money, but some business person is going to read your name and read your application, and they might just say, one of these days when you go apply at their company or want to invest with them, is such a broad opportunity out there. I believe this. Really, there's so much opportunity. Nobody has to fail for me to succeed.
Right.
So it's we can all win.
That's right. And those kids, what you're talking about, we read, when we're looking at these scholarship applications to allocate money to these young people, we may not, in my particular business, there may not be any that really fit me, but I can call another business owner within SMA and say, hey, you might want to check out this kid.
Yeah.
And I may be able to tell that kid, hey, you might want to go talk to this person, right? The networking is huge. And it's such a family-based organization. And I know myself and other people that I'm close friends with, and I have a lot of close friends within SMA. And, I've been through some hard times over the years, and SMA personnel, family was here,
I don't know if you'd be okay sharing some piece, but like some of that hard times is a fair thing to talk about a little bit, because we're all like, I got fired by my best friend of all time. It's like, that was a hard time. It was
Absolutely.
a crazy thing for he and I to go through. But now I'm sitting on the couch out here at this forum, and I'm in the chicken business now. And there's a guy that's been in the chicken business, and we're talking. He's teaching me stuff. It's like, it's going to be okay.
It's all relative, yeah.
Yeah. So is there any pieces of that kind of rough spot you can share?
Sure. I went through some personal hard times, and Jason Byer and myself are really great friends, and him and I have shared some personal hard times together and been there for each other, as well as professional.
Yeah.
And, it's worked out great. And Jason and I became really good friends through SMA. We did business together previously, but Jason and I probably bonded whenever, he's the auctioneer for Friday night and for our fundraiser. And when we were in San Antonio, we went out to a ranch, and we had had a really good auction that night and found out that we had raised $50,000. That was a highlight. It was a record.
Right.
And then we got kind of emotional about it, I guess, and decided, 75 was our next goal, then 100, and, we set it out, and, we're well over 100 now in what we're doing and still growing, and there's a huge amount of people that make that happen, but we're fortunate enough to get to be a part of that and get to be a part of, helping people, and then that's kind of what Jason does. He's just that guy, and it's good to be associated and call him a friend.
Yeah. So I wanted to get him and DL on the Meet People podcast together and just hear, just
some of their stories.
Story. You bet. It's now, were you involved in the plant when it burned down?
No.
Okay. So
I came afterwards when it was a slaughterhouse, hog slaughterhouse. It burned down, and they rebuilt it as a kettle operation, and thinking they would add value to the ABF slaughterhouse beef, and found out that industry's hard to get into, and that's they needed some help from a lot of different areas, but they were very tenacious, and Jason and DL don't have any quit in them.
Yeah,
they just don't.
Like they're the kind of guys you just don't want to have to compete against.
No, they're fantastic partners, and
you're not going to get them to stop.
Yeah, they just and so when we did that, and it's grown exponentially in the last 9 years. I've been with the company 9 years now, and it's been a fun and interesting business to get into. And those guys are into everything. They farm and ranch and build hotels and have slaughterhouses and kettle-cooked operations, and they just do a little bit of everything. So,
well, what a story, really. What a you got to think about your career and what you've done. And Mertzon to Rowena to Danhill, that's now this multi, kind of an international company, to the Meat Board, to Texas Best Proteins. It's just like, wow, Pat, that's pretty cool stuff.
My journey has been it's been unbelievably rewarding. Like you said earlier, it hadn't been the easiest. I don't tend to not take the easiest path in life, it seems like, but I started working for my dad full-time when I was 10 years old, and in the slaughterhouse, that was part of it. My first job was rendering hog fat and making cracklins and dipping lard. And so we sold cracklins in buckets of lard. And that was my first job.
Yeah.
And, from there it went to learning how to slaughter, then process, and then the smoked meat part of it. And the smoked meat part of it was probably the most gratifying because you're creating things. And it was nice, being a regional known name, and it holds true today. There's a lot of people I can see somebody in the airport that remembers me from 30 years ago from the family business. But I've been very fortunate, I guess, to make the relationships that I've had and the opportunities that I've had over the years, and I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't.
So that's a pretty good spot to start, descending this plane and thinking about putting it on the runway.
Sure.
So you're just kind of a winner, like, even if it's what I would consider kind of a simple thing, like get auction items for the auction. Like, you do that well. What's the key to that? Do you know? Is there a secret sauce to it?
I don't take no for an answer. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And I don't do rejection very well. So I try to not put myself in a position to be rejected or told no, to be honest with you.
There you
if
go.
we're being honest.
To me, it's interesting to me because I want to emulate that, right? And so now I've got a chance to ask, and that's...
So I try to stay prepared on the front end and educate myself and listen, and I'm not scared to get dirty or try something. Failure is not an option, right? But you fail on a regular basis whenever you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you win. If you fail enough, you're going to win.
Yeah.
You just don't quit.
That's right. Keep getting up.
That's right. And this is our leadership team at work. I always tell them, it's not about things happening. Every day, something's going to happen, not going to go right. Doesn't matter if it's your personal life or business or whatever. It's not about that. That's going to happen. It's about how you handle it. Mm-hmm. And you have to prepare yourself to handle it. So I think that's the key, is preparation. And, that's on you. It depends on your ambition and determination and your willpower.
Yeah.
So
I hope y'all been listening, folks. You've been watching on YouTube and listening on the podcast, because what Pat just told you is a cheat code for getting the things you want. Don't take no for an answer, but put yourself in a position where no's not very smart for them.
Right.
Know what you're talking about. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Meet People podcast listeners, thank you. So if you loved it, tell somebody about it. If you didn't, tell Lacey. Don't tell me. Y'all come back. We'll have another interview, great conversation coming. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you. Appreciate it.